I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties, sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
Welcome to Black Tea Sip. Listen, let me say it is hot. Listen, if you're not a hot boy or a hot girl, you might want to go outside. It's going to be 105 today. So if you're not a hot boy, you're not a hot girl, go outside. You will be a hot boy or a hot girl. And I want to tell you, go get your mittens on because we're going to have a heater today because it's going to be hot in here. But we're going to keep on all our clothes. So now, there's a lot that's happening in the world. Mm-hmm. The universe is still going crazy. COVID, they want you to take another vaccine. In a minute, y'all gonna glow in the dark. And then monkeypox is out here. Listen, these random hookups, this sugar baby, these grinders and tenders, you're gonna mess around with something water can't rinse off. You need to be careful. This monkeypox is real, it can kill. You need to be careful. So if you're a hot boy, you're a hot girl, you might just want to stay in the house and let the unhot go outside and pass out. It's hot out here in these Texas streets, and we got a heater for you today. I want to talk about some things. We got the first black woman that's president of an NFL franchise. Shout out to the Raiders. They always try to be on the forefront of everything. That sounds so funny, Las Vegas Raiders. But okay, they've been the Las Vegas Raiders for a while. It's just I'm so old school. We also have, I want to have a conversation. I know we're beating the head with Roe v. Wade, but some interesting things came to my attention. I want to talk about abortion versus adoption today, Lola. I think that's a conversation to have. I want to talk about that. And dating 101. Y'all seem to want to talk about dating, so here we go. Listen, here's the thing. A lot of y'all are out here telling me that you're dating younger men because of their stamina. Lola bust out laughing. Well, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it all today. We're going to get into it, and we're going to start there. We're going to take a quick break. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. Stay with me because we are going to talk about what's too old and why certain things ain't working and why y'all talking to people that don't even know Laverne and Shirley was a thing. Y'all don't stop. Y'all stop. If they don't know who Laverne and Shirley is and you my age, you with the wrong people. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
What if we didn't watch Laverne?
Do you know that what Laverne and Shirley is? Well, then you answered your own question. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. This is Coy. In a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
Louis on my eyes, you got them days. Took you a whole year to bounce back. Took me a couple days. You hitting licks, I'm getting rich. I'm hitting C-notes. Watch what you say, I got a pick. I can show you what he know. He can do tricks, he with the shit. Do what I tell him to. If he get at you, I plead the fifth. I didn't tell him to. I hit the block was hot. I had to drop the top. Remember the name, never forget the face. I'm coming back. Won't now, go get your phone now. Yeah. Won't now, go get your phone now. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. I be on my grind. Bitches think I hit the lotto. You should watch now, cause I'm in a zone now. This is my town. Turn off the lights now, cause I'm shutting shit down. Send the shots to all my haters. No, I don't promote violence. Where is the waiter? Sign autographs later, then I gotta go. Sign autographs on the back of my check. Minding my business, yeah, that's a bet. Baby, my entourage ready to flex. Pop rubber bands, see we neck to neck. Running the race, I got who's next. How does it taste? Pick up the pace, I'm on a new page. My honey's fresh, like they just came out of a suitcase. Whoa now, go get your phone now. Go get your phone. Whoa now, go get your phone now. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. I be on my grind.
All right, and we're back. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. If you're just joining us, we got some things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about black excellence. We have the first black woman president. She's president of the Las Vegas Raiders. But we also want to get into some dating stuff because y'all are asking me questions. And some of these questions, I mean, I guess I should be flattered that y'all are asking me, but sometimes I'm just floored. I'm like, child, for real? Well, this is where we are.
What kind of questions are people asking you?
Well, you know, they asked me what qualifies you as a cougar. I mean, you old and he young. I didn't know what answer to give. That's the best I could do. But you know, you old, he young. He old enough to be your son. I mean, you know. I don't know. I think that qualifies lioness, but I mean, but cougar is the term. I even had a little boy tell me I was a fine cougar, fine butt cougar. I said, wait a minute, hold up now. Cougar suggests, trying to get my belt to go here. Cougar suggests that I date young men. And he said, well, I've never dated an older woman, but I'm willing to try. Okay, well, tell me how that work out for you.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, I'm not interested in it. All a young man can do for me is introduce me to his daddy. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want you to be 30 years old. Where your daddy? Where's Pops? I don't want to talk to you. You don't know where Laverne and Shirley is. You know, happy days, fun. I can make a reference you wouldn't even know. You know, good times. If I say damn, you just think I'm having a moment. You don't know that's from a show.
But you're not giving him or creating exposure or, you know, exposing him to things he doesn't know.
That's not my ministry. That's not. Who said that was my job?
Well, I did not say it was your job.
Well, listen, I'm not here to work for the children. That's for everybody in DISD. I'm not here to work for the children. I'm not doing that. Not doing it at all. I'm not trying to educate nobody's child. You know, now we may have dissimilar experiences, and we come together and then we share and we grow. I'm all for that. I think that's a good thing, actually, with someone of age appropriate. But that's me. Some of y'all getting off on these little boys because you saying they want stamina. You know, you need somebody with stamina. A girl told me she was dating an older man. It was like a roller coaster. Just kept going up and down. So I said, is he on blood pressure pills? And she was like, blood pressure. I said, well, that could have something to do with it. Or is he diabetic? Does he have high cholesterol? Maybe, you know, maybe that's why you do go to the gym, so you can find somebody that's trying to be physically fit so they're not on a lot of medication. Because meds, see, this is what black people do. Black people say, well, my grandmother and my mother both had high blood pressure, so I'm destined to have it. No, ma'am.
No.
You're not destined to have high blood pressure. You just eat poorly like they did. Mm-hmm. You're not changing your circumstances or your habits. Mm-hmm. But so, you know, women are saying you know, I just need someone that, you know, has stamina. Well, I had a friend, she was dating a dude, and he was in a doctoral program. She had grown children. He had no children. This is what the Bible calls unevenly yoked. He's going to want children, but he don't want them with your old behind because your eggs are old. And that's not what he's trying to do. He's just there for the good time. Y'all are looking at these younger men and trying to have relationships. He's just the plumber, ma'am. That's all this young boy is the plumber. Y'all have watched The Shy, and y'all think it's okay to date your son's friends. It's not. It's not okay. I mean, you do what you want to do, but I'm sitting in judgment. I'm judging. I'm over here judging. If that is what's going on. You are dating someone who is close in age with your child, that's gross. But if all you're looking for is stamina, then he should, y'all shouldn't even be talking in the daytime. Like, what y'all talk about? He sent a text what time he coming through.
Well, so, okay, there is a huge age gap, but so I'm 41. If someone 31 is interested in me, he's 10 years younger, but, that's an age where if they don't have children and I don't have children, we could possibly have children. Because what I'm finding challenging is, older men, they have children and their kids are graduating from college or going to college. The last thing they want is to revisit that cycle again, which I respect. So
because he don't want to be 70 at the graduation.
Right. And I understand that. So dating younger men, for me, it kind of works.
So are you saying you're going to date someone 10 years younger than you?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm open to, I have a date with a guy. He is, I think 10 years younger than me. And I'm open to that because he doesn't have kids. I don't have kids. We have things in common, but, and we have the same, a few interests, but older guys or guys around my age, they have raised their kids and they've been divorced or whatever the case may be, and that is where the issue
Their new
lies.
normal does not involve children.
Right.
Or child rearing.
Right.
Or dating women with children.
Right.
That are rearing and looking out here for
Well,
papa
I don't
shopping.
know if they don't. I don't know about dating women with children. I can't.
Young children. I should have emphasized young children.
So now 21. Oh my God, that's definitely statutory rape. But 31. I just feel like if we both are interested in the same thing and we both want the same thing. And the maturity is at a good place. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, because you're not 50.
No, I'm not.
So if you were 50 and he was 31, I'd be
yeah.
talking about you on the radio.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even wait till we got out.
Oh wow.
I think you have a right to do whatever you want to do.
That's
I mean, you do you, boo, if that's what you want to do. But I do think that when people are trying to date. Mm-hmm. And they're looking for relationships or to build a relationship, and they're looking for compatibility. Mm-hmm. Well, they have to be really careful with that because someone who is 10 or 15 years your junior is not on the same wavelength. Now, you do find men that are younger that want to date a woman that they don't want children. They just, I think it's really a very jaded thing for you not to want to see the better part of yourself in a little one, in your mini-me that you grow and you nurture and you watch them turn into this remarkable, incredible person. Mm-hmm. I think there is some selfishness in that, but that's just a coyism. Mm-hmm. We have a family friend who never wanted children, and he married a woman that was about 10 years older, and there are no children, and they seem to be very happy, but he is also a very selfish, flawed individual. I would call his name, but why? So, right. So I think when people are dating and they are looking for something, I think you need to be really clear about what your expectations are. And so when I said what's too old, I'm talking to men. You had some, what is the term? It's a real term. What'd you tell me? Was that you that told me about the hobo sapien?
No, I did not, but I'm interested in hearing what that is.
Okay, so the hobo sapien is actually someone who is effectively homeless and dates women so that he'll have a place to stay. It's called a hobo sapien.
I know a few.
Yeah. Steve Harvey, hobo sapien. Because Steve Harvey actually said he got married all those times because he needed a place to stay. Because he was living in his car when he met the twins' mother. This him talking. Him and Marjorie just tell all their business, all their children business. They just tell all the business. So this is not me talking to him. And I just think to myself, you could be a hobo sapien any age, male or female.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's what I know happened. So my man has a friend who was dating a girl that was younger. And she was looking for money. Well, given the age and the age of social media and how these children don't know anything but social media, like they don't want to talk on the phone. Their whole conversations are text, which I don't even know how you had time to do this right here because I got stuff going on. I need my hands, but okay, whatever. So, he was like, you know, if this had been my woman, then yeah, it wouldn't have been a problem. But this is somebody I'm dating. But these younger girls who are dating older men who seem to have something and be established, their expectation is they're going to drop out. So then the men are frustrated and upset. Well, I mean, to a degree, you get what you pay for. And I mean, why would she, a young 25-year-old girl, be interested in your 50-something-year-old tail if it wasn't for that money? Sir, you weren't on the Sugar Baby website, but you was in these Sugar Baby streets.
Yeah.
So shame on you, sir.
Yeah.
For being mad as a little girl, waiting on you to drop out like a slot machine. Yeah. That's what she sees you as, sir, a slot machine. Daddy. To give her money, to pay her bills, to, you know.
Take care of her.
Right. So then you have that faction, right? Then you have women who are nurturers, but have been through some things and are looking for somebody to take care of them and to be there for them and take out trash, get the oil changed and those kind of things. And they want to be loved on and protected in a way, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to find that in a kid that's 10 or 15 years younger than you. He just left his mama house. His grandmama. He's granny's baby. You're not going to find that in him. So shame on you for having expectations of a relationship where he's going to fulfill some role. He hasn't grown into his role yet.
Right. You can't tell someone to grow up and you know that they're
and they're not grown.
And they're not grown. Well, and that's why I said 30. I mean, you know, that's they've lived a little, but I mean, I can see in the
well, at least their brain is fully developed. Your brain is fully developed at the age or by the age of 25. So if he's 30, he's had 5 full years of a full brain at 30.
Yes, a five whole years.
5 whole years.
And
so he's got basically his fully developed brain is at the kindergartner stage at 30. I'm just saying. I'm saying it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. At 30, he's got a kindergartner, fully developed brain. You go to kindergarten when you're 5. I mean, you know, 35, he at least 5th grade.
No. These people have graduated from college, have masters, great careers. We can't say that they're just, you know, just so immature that it's intolerable. I do believe, yes, I do believe there are some people that are just childish.
Just ding-dongs.
Yeah. And there are some people that, you know, based on their life circumstances, have had to grow up faster.
And they're really good people to be around.
So I'm going to be hopeful on this date with this 31-year-old. I mean, surely he's definitely is more mature than 5th grader, considering he has graduated from college and graduate school.
Well, we're going to cross our fingers and our toes.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, it's rough out here in these streets.
It is, because, I mean, but for me, like, I feel like I have a youthful spirit, and I have a lot of energy, and so, you know, when someone 58, because I did go out with someone who was 58,
shame on you.
And shame on me.
Shame on you, because old men will give you worms.
The conversation was about a heart transplant a cousin was having, and then...
But he was toe up. Because he was looking at his cousin thinking about his own mortality. He was toe up.
A hernia, and I was just like... He was like, you know, hernias can get real big. That's why they got the big. I was like... Where did this come from?
How did the conversation start like that? What happened? It morphed into that?
Yeah, I think he was just asking me what I was going to do for the 4th or something. And I said, oh, you know, probably just hang out with my family. I mean, because, you know, we're eating, having a drink. And he said, well, yeah, I'm going to go visit my cousin. You know, he's got to decide if he's going to have this heart transplant. And I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And then he's like, yeah, you know, and then he has a hernia. And, you know, hernias, if they're going to take out the heart, they may as well go and take out the hernia. But I don't know if he's going to. And I just couldn't believe how fast the conversation turned from.
Because he's an old man, that's what old people talk about.
Yes.
Death, dying, and destruction. Unless you're young and vibrant, and but he was dealing with his own mortality. He was thinking about him kicking the bucket.
Yeah.
If he's 58 and you're 41, unless it's like the Anna Nicole situation where he's a billionaire and you're just gonna push him around for a few years in a wheelchair, I don't see the purpose.
Yeah, agreed.
Shame on him. He almost 60. He could have been your daddy.
Oh, yes.
Shame.
Yes.
Shame on him.
Well, you want to at least take the first meeting.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in business, we do say take the meeting, but in dating, you don't take the meeting because, listen, old men give young girls worms. You do whatever you want to with that. This is Corey with the Black T said. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I want to identify, how to determine what kind of man you want. Now, some of y'all just out here doing the fool. This is Corey and Lola of Lola's Love Life. We'll be right back.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analyst are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
What's up, Sir Charles?
Time Bud, what's happening with it, baby?
Say, man, I messed up, man.
Oh, yeah. What you do, man?
I think my baby done left me, man.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think she gonna take me back. You know that old saying, they say you never miss your water till your well run dry.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, been there, done that.
Man, I never thought that'd happen to me. I was wrong. For hurting you, baby, for hurting you. Yeah, I was so wrong, for breaking your heart in two, All you did was try to love me, baby, love me, but I was out acting a fool. So I'm asking you to please forgive me, baby. Forgive me, 'cause I'm so afraid of losing you. My daddy used to tell me, son, you never miss your water. Never miss your water, yeah. Until your well run dry. Until your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you, baby. Never meant to hurt you. No, I never meant to make you cry. I never meant to make you cry. You never miss your water. Never miss your water. Oh no, babe. Until your well run dry. Until your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you.
All right, and we're back. This is Coy of Black Tea Sip with Lola of Lola's Love Life, and we are talking about dating. What's too old? I actually think what's too old is if you could be their parent. Like if you could have gotten pregnant in high school at 17.
Yeah.
Or even 16, and that could be your child. You said, well,
Yeah.
I mean, because 16 years is a big deficit. I mean, that's some people work it out. But, I mean, I think you need to identify what it is what is mutually beneficial. I think when you have well over 10 years, a decade between you, it's transactional. And if that is not what you're looking for, then you, sir, at 47 years old, need to stop dating girls who are 27. And then you mad because she's asking you for money. Your relationship is transactional because it's 20 years between y'all.
Right.
I mean, so here's what I think women should do. Because, women are saying there's nobody out here, you can't find nobody, I think you need to identify what it is you're actually looking for. If you're looking for companionship and you're looking for somebody to share your life with, someone to witness your life, to be present there, to be there for you, then that's different than stamina.
Oh, absolutely.
If you are looking for stamina, then you're not looking for a relationship.
No.
And you need to stop leading, saying that it's your heart when really it's your cooch. You just need to be honest with
It's
yourself.
lust. It's not love.
Well, some of these lusty women are falling in love with these young boys and they're wondering why it ain't working out. I mean, I'm getting some DMs where people are asking me.
Well, here's the thing. Even with dating younger men, I feel like I can see them falling in love, but that's because you're getting something you should be giving yourself. Like if this younger guy is all over me and he's talking to me, and if you don't get that kind of attention, and now you dive in head first, and now you wonder why it's not working out. Well, he's finessing, he's doing what he has to do to get what he wants from you, and you're feeling young, beautiful, and full of joy, but this was just, I mean, you got to know when it's just a show. It's not really,
Well, I don't even know if he's putting on a show. I mean, maybe he really is into her. He finds her desirable. I mean, there are women that are 50 and 60 years old that are still bringing it, still look good, body still in shape.
Yeah.
But I think that boys who want to date much older women, I think they have some mommy complexes.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
And so you need to identify a mommy complex. And let's just talk about very briefly what that is. Men who never felt like they had the love and approval of their mothers or that mother figure, then they do look for that in their dating partner. The problem with that is they're looking for you to do the things that mother would do, and then you want him to do the things that a partner would do. It's incestuous. It's gross. So I think you need to, if you just need a plumber, you need to just say that. I'm just looking for a plumber.
Right.
And just be honest. This is the plumber. He comes through and takes care of my pipes, and understand what that means. I mean, maybe you and your plumber, catch a Netflix movie, but y'all probably ain't going to the movies. I mean, maybe y'all eat together, but it's usually takeout at your house because he's the plumber.
Right.
And the plumber is in your house.
So what happens is there's a delusion. So this person is always with you, and now you're wondering why it's not working because you all were always together and now you're not. But you're saying you have to identify where you're together. Like if you're always at your house, or if he's always coming over.
But the plumber should not. It should be no always with a plumber.
I mean,
a plumber is just that. To unclog your pipes. That's what a plumber is for.
Right.
In your intimacy, the plumber unclogs the pipes, packs up his tools, tears his derriere. The plumber does not spend the night.
Do you think that the woman has not identified the fact that this is just a plumber?
She has. Many of them have not.
Or she wants more from him. Maybe it started out that way, and now they're wanting more.
I just think people don't realize that there are buckets of relationships. I mean, just like in your everyday life, you have some friends that you work with that you really enjoy their company, and sometimes you do spend time with them outside of work. And then you have friends that you just kick it with. They just your happy hour friends or club friends or spade tournament friends. That's what they are.
Right.
Some people have church friends, Some of them, they cool, they not holier than thou, but there are certain places you probably not gonna go to the strip club with the girl you call Sister Mary. Like you ain't probably going to the strip club with her. So, I'm simply saying you need to identify these people in your life and understand what a relationship is. A relationship is what you say it is. A relationship is what you say it is, and no one can identify what the relationship is for you, what it looks like. You and I had a conversation about your friend trying to tell you about how you should date and what it should look like and whatever her name is. And I was just like, but she's overreaching because she is assigning to you the attributes and the dating life that she wants that she either had or thinks is acceptable. So what you say it is, that's what your relationship is, because that word is subjective.
Right.
And you have to be the one to define that.
Yeah, because I'm in the relationship.
Right, but if you say, you had girls say, well, honey, I would never let him do that to me. Well, you probably wouldn't. Like people will tell me, well, I wouldn't do all that for my son. I wouldn't do it for your son either, but I'll absolutely do it for mine.
Yeah.
So how I handle my children may not work for someone else, but these are things that I'm going to do. In my relationship, This may not work for you, but these are things that I am going to do. I have identified these are things I want to do. These are things that work. These are the things that make him happy, that make me happy, that make us move steadily down the road or wherever the heck we going. That's what I say it is. It is not what my homegirl or my cousin or my mama or anybody else can define for me.
Right.
When you are dating, that's what you have to do. You have to define what the relationship is. If you are, middle-aged woman, 40 plus, and you're horny and you're looking for somebody to come through, you may find a guy that you enjoy spending time with who can satisfy you that way. That's fantastic.
Right.
But if he is 10 to 15 years your junior, y'all are not going to be in a relationship. Now, I'm not going to say ever. There are rarities. But for the most part, that's not a relationship.
Right.
He's the dude that comes through. Y'all have some laughs. Maybe you have some takeout. But he's the plumber. Some of y'all are falling in love with the plumber. A plumber services several people.
Yeah. Stop putting expectations on someone knowing that what they are only capable of providing you.
Well, if he has no children and he's in graduate school, he's probably dating other women who are
because his focus is grad school, right?
And so you're somebody he has fun with,
right?
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with having fun with Mr. Wrong while you're waiting on Mr. Right. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you identify
that he's
what it is that Mr. Wrong is. What is his purpose? What is his purpose? I don't think you should shut yourself off and say, well, you know what? No, I'm not going to date anybody else. I'm dating Daniel. Daniel is 12 years your junior. He has a job. He's going back to school. And Daniel is somebody, he's using you to blow off some steam. Understand that. If you don't want to be the steam girl, then move on. But that is what Daniel is going to be. Stop thinking that you and Daniel are going to build a life. This boy has not lived a life.
To build. He's still building his own. Yeah.
And I think there is a little bit of fascination. You have these women that hate men. They just hate men. They're all over Twitter. They say ridiculous things on Instagram, and they try to make their way to the shade room 3 times a day. These women don't like men. There is a movement of disliking black men. So there are some women that are out there that we are readily introduced to. Some of you have them as friends who date younger men. Because that is their way, sometimes subconsciously and unconsciously, of getting back at whatever man hurt them. So they're going to be with this man. They're going to have more control because he's younger. He's, and he's probably just going with the flow.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any.
He's not as invested as you would want him to be.
So do you really have control if they're not as invested?
Well, you have a certain level of control if you're smart because you should be dictating the terms. But if you allow him to slide through and he comes, here's the thing. If he tell you he's coming over at 8 and he doesn't get there till 11 o'clock, you have to decide if you're mad, but, he's the slide through dude.
He's the slide through
He's the slide through dude. So, what is the purpose? Is it that your plumbing is clogged? Because then, 11 and then you can push him on out the door by midnight, 12:30. You set your rules and your parameters, and I don't think that that's what people are doing. They're just out here almost feloniously dating. You got to have a plan for you. So if you're dating one guy that's 35, he's fun, he's got a lot of energy, he likes to go out, then he is Mr. Showtime.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with dating Mr. Showtime, but Mr. Showtime is not a relationship. Because Mr. Showtime really doesn't appreciate responsibility. If you're a woman looking to be in a relationship, then you're looking for responsibility. You're looking for the dude who shows up, who witnessed your life, who takes care of you. He listens to you gripe and complain. You're looking for that dude. That's not Mr. Showtime. If you're looking for a plumber, then he's probably either the Netflix guy or your floater guy if he's not Mr. Showtime. He's the plumber. So he's the dude that, y'all don't really go out. These dudes are identifiable. But it doesn't mean, y'all keep trying to handcuff these dudes and y'all are trying to turn a male hoe into a housewife. And then you wonder why your life has turned out the way it is. You're making bad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we all just want somebody to love and somebody to love us. And I mean,
But you have to make good choices.
I agree.
You have
I
to make
agree.
good.
I
You have
agree.
to make good choices.
I definitely agree.
And you have to make choices that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if this guy is primarily always in the street and he's hanging out, and then he's not gonna. I mean, you cooking and you mad because he 2 hours late. He ain't the dude you cook for. He's the dude you say let's go out.
Yeah.
You know, I've had friends who have made more money than the guy, and they say, well, I'm not going to find a guy who's on my level. Well, I don't know how come. I mean, you know, they are out there. I don't understand that. So then, but then you try to create in him something that he is not.
Right.
Well,
So
shame
you're
on you.
You're building your, like a build a man.
Yeah, and shame on you for that,
So-
because he can't be something other. Listen, I got a friend. She went on the first date with the dude, and he told her he had 2 repos, and he told her that, you know, he had had some financial trouble,
Okay.
and she married him.
Okay.
But let me tell you, she's smart. He is fun. He's good to her. He's just financially challenged. It's not that he doesn't make money. He just doesn't know how to make his money, right? So they get married. I'm kind of like eyebrow raised, you know. But there are things that he gives her in this marriage that she didn't get with her other marriages.
Okay.
So she has identified what she needs, what works for her. But when she starts to say things like about money, like, because you already knew this dude done had 2 cars snatched. So you understand what that is. So she supplements. That's the word I'm going to use. She supplements. And it benefits her financially. Now, I am not suggesting supplemental dating when you're married, extracurricular dating. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have to identify what it is that you're looking for, understand it, know it, and then be respectful of it, and not try to create something in somebody. Now, if you're a man and you're dating a woman and she's 15 years younger than you, she's in her 20s, you in your 40s or 50s, and you mad because she asking you for money, why? Sir, you're the bank.
Yeah.
You are her bank. She, you know what? Your situation is transactional. When she jumping up and down on you, she's expecting, that's like an ATM. She slides this card in, and then she expects something to drop out. That is
Trading goods for services.
That is what that is.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to identify what it is they're looking for, and then stick to that. You know, and I'm not talking about I want me to be chocolate, bow head, body ripped, and 6'4". That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, that this dude makes, you know, he manages a call center. So let's say he makes $60,000, $70,000 a year. Well, he's probably not going to be able to take you on your friend's birthday trip, and that trip is $6,000 per person. He's probably not going to be able to do that. Don't be mad at him because he can't do it.
Right, because you know that he can't. You knew he couldn't when you started dating him. Yeah. Yeah.
And you want him to save up for your friend's party. That's your friend, not his.
No, it's not. Yeah.
You know,
That's true.
if he's part of a motorcycle thing, a club, whatever that stuff is, and you know, you're not into motorcycles, but every Sunday you complaining because you got helmet hair because you going out on a motorcycle. You knew this was the kind of dude
Things
he
that
was.
wanted to do, yeah.
And I just feel like too many people, you're not willing to accept it. You're not willing to own it in some way and say, you know what, this is my relationship, this is what works for me. You know, you want to try to change or derail it, and then you wonder why it's not working out. People are in a perpetual cycle of dating. You want to know, I have a friend, Lord, she couldn't go no more. 10 days, it was astonishing. 14, it was usually over. 2 weeks. All of her relationships turned over within 2 weeks. All of them.
Well,
So-
is that a relationship?
Well, I mean, a relationship is what you say it is.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, that's her relationship. And what we noticed in these relationships was she had unrealistic expectations. The unrealistic expectation was he wasn't going to be with anybody else. Because you, male or female, because there's some dudes that do this too. Because y'all jump into bed together doesn't make y'all go together. Like, y'all not going steady.
Right. That's true.
I mean, what do you want him to do? Give you his varsity jacket and his class ring?
No.
I mean, that's basically what you're asking for. This is childish. You can make a decision of whether or not you're ready for that emotionally, psychologically, physically, you know, all the E's. You can make a decision about that. but you are out here mad because you slept with him on Tuesday night. Y'all had breakfast together Wednesday morning, and then on Thursday or Friday, you trying to go back over there, and he's saying now's not a good time. That's on you. You did that.
Right.
Because, you know, you have to be able to set your parameters and your boundaries. If that's what you want to do, you digging that cat like that, that's fine. But y'all only been seeing each other 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and y'all went on 4 days together in 2 weeks, and now you over there spending the night, and you wonder why you can't leave your toothbrush. He doesn't know you, ma'am.
Yeah.
He doesn't know you.
I mean, it's been 4 nights, and that's wonderful, but yeah, he doesn't.
4 separate nights. They're not even consecutive.
Oh, I think. Yeah, no.
You know, that's a problem.
No.
That's a problem, and then you're mad. So then she would end up cussing the dude out, talking about he playing games and this, that, and the other. Well, now you have unveiled yourself to be a psycho.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you some game. I got to pay some bills. We're going to take a quick break. Then I'm going to tell you what you should do when you're dating. Because y'all said I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to identify these dudes. I'm telling you to be honest with yourself. But y'all need this to be broken all the way down, and we're going to do that when we return. This is Corbett to Black Tea Sip.
Hey, this is Dr. Preston E. Malone.
And Pastor Joseph B. Brown.
And we're the host of My Daddy's Brother's Boys Ministry with a Purpose.
Broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 8 p.m.
From Fishbowl Radio Network Studios at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas.
Log on to hear an inside look at over 80 years combined ministries.
The good.
The bad.
The ugly.
Situations and circumstances.
Moments in the Bible and current events.
So be sure to log on each week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. to catch
My Daddy's Brother's Boy Ministry
with a Purpose
on FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey DFW, it's Luna and Nika, owners of Real Dallas Properties and Management, here to serve all your real estate needs. Nika, tell them what we do.
So we're a Dallas-based boutique real estate brokerage, and we're full service, which means we can help with every and any type of real estate transaction.
That's right, we got your back at every stage of life.
Whether you need an apartment, a home rental, to buying your first home, selling that home, buying investments, to even property management.
And don't forget commercial, looking for a new space for your business? We got you on that too. You can reach us on Instagram at Real Dallas Properties or shop all properties on the market at RealDallasProperties.com.
Hi, this is Diane Marion Eunice, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. For the past 9 years, I have worked with over 300 couples in the areas of sexual health, communication, and conflict resolution. If you are interested in rebuilding connection and intimacy with your partner, please contact me today. I can be reached at 682-201-8175, or you can email me at diane@letstalkrelationships.org, or visit my website at www.letstalkrelationships.org. And remember, you can't heal if you refuse to deal.
Attention, Kiko is hiring. You heard right, Kiko is hiring. Kiko is looking for you to fill the following positions: seamstress, machine operators, forklift drivers, loaders, packers, and baggers. 2 shifts are available. First shift Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Saturday, and 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. overtime. And second shift Monday to Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Saturday, and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. overtime. Kiko offers great medical benefits just 30 days after hire and company match 401k. Visit us at KikoHome.com and submit your resume to Cadiano@lkiko.com. You can also apply in person at 5450 West Keith Boulevard in Dallas. All interviews are conducted in person. Don't miss this great opportunity. Get hired today at Kiko.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council. I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties. Sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
All right, this is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. If you're just joining us, we are talking about dating. I got Lola's Love Life.
Hi.
And so we were talking about old men and older women and what's too old and
what's too young.
And so here's the thing. I have been asked, well, why don't you just tell us? I thought I was doing that, but clearly, everybody has a different perspective. So why don't you just tell us what it is that we should be looking for or how to, and so, I said you need to define what it is that you're looking for and then what they can provide. Because, I've said relationships grow organically. It should just turn into something. I don't think that you ought to go into a relationship saying, I want to be exclusive. How long is it going to take you to be exclusive with me? I mean, some of y'all are just kind of rushing this thing. So let me identify some things for you. One, I don't necessarily think you ought to abide by a rule, 90-day rule. I know Steve Harvey said that, but you need to, y'all really need to check his references. But the other thing I think you need to really concern yourself with, other than how many days, is how much time. Mm-hmm. Because you can date a guy for 90 days, mm-hmm. and you could see him 18 times in 90 days. Mm-hmm. That means you have seen him, a couple of times, mm-hmm. A few times a month, So mm-hmm. maybe you see him 6 times in 30 days. So and that's fine. Right. 6 times in 30 days. But then you may have another guy that you date in 30 days. You have literally seen him 15 times. So are you putting them both on the same time schedule? If you're attracted to him and the vibe is good. So are we only looking for quantity or are we looking for quality to make that determination?
So you're saying the time frame shouldn't determine the quality of the relationship,
or how you're moving in the relationship. The
right.
time frame, I don't think. I mean, if you've seen a guy 18 times in 90 days, mm-hmm. that's a dude you're casually dating. Mm-hmm. You enjoy spending time with that person. Mm-hmm. This other guy, you've seen him 15 times in 30 days. Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's a difference.
It's a huge difference.
So are they both on a 90-day schedule?
No. Because the person you've seen 15 times in 30 days is getting more than the one you've seen 18 and 90.
But,
I mean, that's definitely
But
true.
by the Steve Harvey rule, the people that are putting, the poo nanny on the schedule, it's on the calendar, you Xing it off like you waiting on Christmas, then that is what you're doing. The 90-day guy, he hung around 90 days, 18 times, then, but this guy over here, the 15 times, I mean, is he waiting 90 days because not for any other reason than 90 days?
Right.
So how do you reconcile that? So my point is, what is it that you're getting in the relationship? Is this guy calling? Is he texting? Is he the person you talk to in the morning on your way to work? Is he the person you talk to before you go to bed? Is he the person that, is concerned about what's going on with you? Is he the person that, wants to make plans? He's not saying on Friday night you coming over. He's literally calling you on Tuesday saying, hey, you got something going on Friday? Or, my boy's having a cookout on Saturday. He's calling you on Tuesday or Wednesday. He wants to make plans. He wants to make sure that you and he are together. And mm-hmm. what he's also doing is he's demonstrating to you that he doesn't have this sense of entitlement. That he assumes that as he is into you, someone else is going to be into you, mm-hmm. and he is trying to stop that from happening. Right. He wants to get on the schedule early. Yeah. He wants to make plans, and you're looking for a guy. If you're older, if you're close to my age, you are looking for a man that you ain't got to tell what to do.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he's calling you saying, "Hey, you want to get some? What you want to do? You want to eat? You want to go to the movies? You want to what you feel like doing? You know." And as time grows, then maybe y'all get to know each other. You know, I mean, I was dating somebody, and they would always call me like on Friday, and he was like, "Why I can't never get you?" I said, "Because you wait till Friday."
Yeah. Yeah.
I might not have I might not have nothing going on. Or maybe I just planned to do nothing and I wasn't going to deviate from my plan.
That's true.
But I wasn't going to make him think that he could just call me on a Friday night and I was going to be available, because I'm not.
Right.
Even if I am.
But that goes back to like having your own life, and because even like, I mean, I'm intentionally dating, I still make me a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if I have something to do, I have something to do. I'm not going to
moving it
adjust
around.
Yeah, we're not going to do that one.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's how you set expectations and create boundaries early.
Right.
Like, this person now knows that Friday is too late for Saturday, you know, and Thursday is too late for Friday.
Yes, right.
So, I mean, like you say, it's important to have your own life, and you can't just, you know, dive in or just attach yourself to someone just because y'all had that one good conversation, or y'all, you know, you definitely have to like.
Well, because he checks the boxes.
Right, and I like I've always said, I like to be pursued. So since I like to be pursued, you can't pursue me if I'm, you know, that
unavailable.
Unavailable,
yeah.
So,
well, I think some women that are alpha women, I'm an alpha, some of us struggle because we will also chase.
Mm-hmm.
There are some women that are hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are a hunter woman, if you are an alpha female, then you need to really occupy your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he needs to chase you, and you need to make sure that he's chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are an alpha female and you're a hunter, then you're going to have to learn to suppress that.
Right.
And so you have to channel that energy into other things. But here is what I want to leave black women with. You're interested in a black man. You're out here dating. Stop trying to point out what he is not doing.
Right.
That is a problem. That we do. Even if you see it, you notice it, to point it out and say, well, you know, like, you didn't pull out my chair. Okay. Well, next time, you know, you just ask him when you're standing, say, would you get my chair? Because you teach people how to treat you.
Right.
But you don't need to say, why you didn't get my chair?
Right.
Women that date older men, typically the man will want to try to educate you. He wants you to know because he's older, he knows more. That's often not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to nip that in the bud. I think you need to say, just because I'm young doesn't make me dumb.
That's
and
true.
the truth of the matter is, if you were looking for someone that you could educate, then you probably should go to the high school.
Yeah.
Or
you should be an educator.
And because those are the people that are out here actively seeking you to educate them. I'm not saying that nobody can teach you anything. I'm saying it's in the delivery. Older men, when they date younger women, tend to want to dote on them in a way that suppresses a certain amount of their womanhood. It suppresses a certain amount of their growth, and it disavows what it is that they bring to the table many times. So if you are a young girl and let's say you're in your early 30s, but you're dating a man that's in his mid 50s, I guarantee you he does things that annoy you because he is demonstratively telling you, showing you that you're younger, he knows more, and you need to follow his lead. The reason he
that's
does
an insecurity.
Well, and the reason he does that is because the last few women he was with didn't follow him at all. So he went and got a young woman so that he could tell her what to do. This is what happens in date. Now, if you cool with that, you got some daddy issues, the older man is for you. Because he is going to daddy you. I would think you wouldn't want that as an adult, but, you know, different strokes.
Some people got daddy issues.
You know, different strokes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a man, you got mommy issues. You won't know what a mommy issue is like. You looking for somebody to rescue you. You looking for somebody to dote on you. You like the fact that this woman buys you gifts regularly.
Or buys your clothes.
And buys your clothes and
fix you up like a kid.
you know, there are some men that think that's cool. Sir, you have mommy issues. And you're looking for someone to love you in a motherly way so that you feel a certain level of acceptance.
Right.
You know, if you're a guy and every time your mama says jump and you say hi, you can't hardly do nothing without your mama giving you a stamp of approval, leave the alpha alone. Leave that chick alone. The chick that's the boss chick, leave her alone. Y'all not gonna do nothing but fall out. And she's gonna say some very terrible things about your mama. It's gonna scar you, sir. It's gonna mess you up. She's gonna talk about your mama. She's gonna tell you your mama ain't poo. I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm just keeping it 100. Y'all want to know what to do, what not to do. This is it. Stop deciding that what you don't have, these one or two things you don't have, you're gonna get them fulfilled with this one person. That's not how it works. When he fulfills these one or two things, that means the other 8 are lacking.
Right.
He's not gonna grow into that.
Yeah. And he's not, you know, you can't make him responsible for your happiness and your life. Like, your life changing.
And remedy everything that every other man has done to you.
Right.
Or she is going to fix everything that every other woman has done to you. That's unfair.
That is.
It's unkind.
Yeah.
And then you're going to fail. And then you're going to ask yourself why.
Why? Yeah.
Well, you're the why. You're
very good words of wisdom.
You're the why. I just feel like y'all not getting the, you know. and the things that you don't like early on, you either identify that you don't like them and share that with that person, or know that person can. I recently had a whole thing go on, you know, where I was, you know, I knew this guy and he was, you know, talking to a friend of mine, and I said no, that's not somebody that I could deal with at all. I could never deal with that person because one, he's just way too thirsty.
Right.
There are some men that have this idea of a woman, and then you fit within the idea of a woman. It's not you he's interested in.
He's the idea.
He's interested in fulfilling the idea. And my friend was kind of like, well, you know, I mean, you're not married, so, you know, is this something you would consider? He's a cool guy, you know, blah, blah. I was like, he way too thirsty.
Yeah.
You know, he's interested in the idea of who he thinks I am, not the reality of who I am.
Yeah, and he's not interested in getting to know that.
Right. So, you know, he's gonna be disappointed when I don't sit completely, you know, adjusted with my bottom perfectly on this pedestal.
Right.
He's gonna be disappointed.
Yeah. And he's only gonna frustrate himself.
That's all he's going to do, because I promise you he wasn't gonna frustrate me. But, you know, my friend was like, and I was like, no, you know, because now the thing is, and here's the other thing, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. Now the thing is, you know, whether you're married or dating someone, and I've had several conversations about this, the thing is to just have a side. Period. Just have a side. So I'm like, well, okay. And so, you know, I have some friends that will talk this side thing up. Married, a couple of them just date somebody, but they believe in having a side. Because and they use my words against me, I have to admit it. One of my friend in particular, who is a very good friend of mine, who I know is watching the show and will listen to the show, and she's like, don't call my name. I ain't gonna call your name, girl. She basically said, he's never going to fulfill everything. So you need someone to catch his slack. And I was like, well, those are words of wisdom from someone who's, you know, who's decided that she knows exactly what she wants.
I will say this. I mean, I do understand the concept, but if I don't have to share, I don't want to share.
Well, and I think that's a valid point.
Right.
And I think it goes back to what your relationship is, what you say it is.
Right.
I just think, you know, my friend said to me, there are things that I enjoy that he doesn't. And she was like, I do care about him. I really do love him. But I am not in a stage in my life where I'm just not going to do these things because of him.
Right.
And she said, so I found someone who enjoys those things, and he understands my situation, and I understand his, and we have a really good time.
Very true.
And I was like, well,
I can dig it.
That's dating in the 21st century. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, COVID, AIDS, monkeypox. I'm thinking, okay. I understand now for married people, it is this thing where you have a side piece and you are exclusive with your side piece so you don't take anything back to your spouse. Yes, I've had several.
This sounds like a lot of work.
I've had these conversations. Lately I've been having a lot of them.
Oh, wow.
So people are saying to me in my discussions, and I have a very dear friend, I'm very close to her. She said she had to break it off with her side because he had too many expectations. She said, I don't even understand why we were having this conversation. We're both cheaters.
Oh my God.
We met cheating, so I don't understand why he thinks that I can be exclusive with the person I'm cheating with. She was like, that's dumb and it's an oxymoron.
Yeah, it is very true.
So she cut him off. Because she was like, we're cheaters. You ought to understand the cheating code. But he wanted to carve out this relationship with her, which is an extracurricular relationship outside of his marriage. You need to just be honest about what you want. And if that's not what you want, then don't be accepting of it.
I agree. I definitely agree.
And, if it's something that you're thinking about, I had somebody say this, you're thinking about, my friend said, get you a side. And explain to him the parameters and what that looks like.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to put all the rules and expectations up early.
But here's what happens with that.
Okay.
When you have these sides. You set the bar. The bar is not set.
Yeah.
You think you have an understanding. You think that everything is fine. This happened to me, when I was just rigorously dating. And, I had guys that would want to have more. And I'd be like, no, we're dating, because, and I thought that was understood. We are dating, which means you're dating other people, I'm dating. And dating doesn't mean sleeping together. It just means the company that you keep.
Right.
So I'm seeing other people, you're seeing other people, but now you have this expectation. Like I told you, my friend, this dude that she's cheating with, he's trying to set the bar is not set.
Yeah.
She's like, the bar is set. So I think, these people that are trying to move over into the exclusive relationship, that's the relationship you need to have is, what is going on in your dating life. And then is that something you mirror or is that something that you move on from?
Right.
If he says, well, no, I'm not ready to commit, or she says, listen, I'm just coming out of something, I'm not looking to get into something else, then you have to respect that and stop thinking you're going to change this person. And if you were cheating with them and now that relationship is falling by the wayside and y'all still together, you shouldn't be shocked when the other person cheats.
No, not at all.
That's
not
what
even
y'all
close.
doing.
Yeah, you shouldn't be shocked at all. And if you are, that's your fault. That is your fault.
On you. So I think there's a lot that's going on in dating, and I think people are really getting their feelings. So even the people that have somebody are really getting. I mean, my girlfriend was like, I cannot believe this. I was digging him, but I got to cut him off because he's trying to have an exclusive relationship. She's like, this is ridiculous. Can you honestly think that we're cheaters? That's what we do. We cheat. And she just could not wrap her mind around the fact that he is having these expectations. Okay, Angelo's telling me we got a caller. Caller, you on the line? Caller, you on the line? Oh, they're gone. They got stage fright. Okay. And so with that, I just think that you really have to identify what it is you want. If this guy is younger and y'all all the time y'all spend is in the house with a little takeout and y'all doing the horizontal aerobics, then that's your plumber. And then you need to find some other people to do these other things with.
Yeah.
If you like to travel, then you need to find somebody else to vacation with. If you like to go to museums, then you need to find someone that's more cultured. If you're a happy hour queen and that dude never wants to go to happy hour, then you need to find somebody to happy hour with. Because stop trying to create a relationship with this one person who it's not fitting.
Right.
Or and that goes both ways. And I think people are unhappy because they're checking these boxes. He's tall, he makes six figures, he loves his mama. Yeah, but he's constantly in the street. He's never at home. And you're a homebody. That's not the dude for you, ma'am.
Right. Agreed.
All right.
Definitely agree.
We're going to take a break. This is Call It the Black Tea Sip. I want to talk about this Roe v. Wade. Somebody broke it down so eloquently, and I loved what they said. We'll be right back in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Our Door skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Our Door. Love is real. Just spread it.
All right, and we're back. This is Court with the Black Tea Sip. If you were just joining us, we were talking about dating and expectations and what people got going on and how to identify that. But we're going to move on from that because I was sent a tweet that I thought perfectly identified the issues with Roe v. Wade. And so now we have, so I had some black people DM me to tell me that, well, basically they were kooky and they said that abortion is murder. Now, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying whatever it is that you're feeling about that.
And cheating is wrong. What is the point?
What?
So, abortion is murder. Stealing is wrong. What's the point?
Okay, right. So here is the thing. I think it's even more wrong to have a 10-year-old child have a baby. You know, because someone told me that a 10-year-old child could not have a baby. I said, the 10-year-old girls that menstruate, and so they can. They get their cycle, the creepy uncle, and then they end up pregnant. So, but this is the mind of men and ignorant women that are chasing this Roe v. Wade thing in the ground. So this girl says, Robin says, I am the innocent child pro-lifers love to slap on posters. She's the baby, okay? The picture of the baby. She said her mother gave her up for adoption after being unable to access abortion. She was poor and homeless. There was no parenting help, and she received a life of pain and abuse. And she says, I would have rather been aborted. She goes further to say, my adopted parents were perfect on paper. When I say I'm the poster child, I mean it. Adopted at birth, advertised as a clean slate. So for those of you that are confused by this, there's this poster of a baby, and at the height of Roe v. Wade being where it became the supreme law of the land that you could have an abortion in this country. It was not illegal. And so she was one of the first children, they said, was there was abortion. The mother didn't have access. It was far away, and she couldn't afford it, and so she ended up having to have the baby, right? So she is they would bounce around this huge life-size child on these huge posters. It's her picture, it's her likeness. She says, so she talks about a clean state, and then she goes on to say they gave a chance to parents, both of which were infertile, wealthy, deserving taxpayer Christians. A homemaker who was a former teacher, and the father was a successful executive. But behind closed doors, they were disappointed when her personality didn't fit their personality. She may have had a dry humor, and they didn't understand it. I mean, you can have your own child and don't understand them. I mean, happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am the odd child out, and it's just two of us.
So with these people, they weren't physically matched, you know. So they hated that she was overweight, and so she's saying this is not an anomaly in adoption. People have this idea, they see this cute little baby. The baby, has blonde hair and blue eyes, but then the hair changes, the eyes are not quite as blue. They're more gray now as the child gets older, and so now they're gray-eyed with jet black hair. It does happen in Caucasian societies. And so now you have children who don't fit. They don't look like the other people. They don't look like the family members. They don't fit. And so this happens. It also happens in people of color. African-American homes, it happens. The parents are very dark. The child is very light, and vice versa. And so you have parents that don't feel like there's a connection with their own child. Right. Okay, so this is what she's talking about. And she says many adoptees will have these same emotions. And so they've justified, in her case, emotional and physical abuse over years. Mm-hmm. She had a personality they didn't understand, and they wanted it gone. So they would beat her. They wanted what they ordered and paid for, not the human being that showed up. She goes further to say, adoptees are 4 times more likely to be sexually abused by an unrelated male who lives in the home, more likely to die by the parent's hand, more likely to commit suicide, overrepresented in jails, prisons, psych wards. Adoption is complicated, and it comes with unique issues.
Oh, absolutely.
She goes further to say, we are not your poster children for removing women's rights. Right. Make no mistake, the adoption industry pays millions a year to lobbyists and directly to politicians, judges, etc., like those who ended up on the Supreme Court's case. There are 42 waiting couples for every available infant, so 1 per 42. She calls them wound-wet infants that cost $40,000, and all that money goes to the agency, the CEO's salary, and back into lobbying. None of it gets to the vulnerable mother who's recruited. Now, I'm not going to say none of it, because now you do have surrogacy. And so you do pay, and my understanding is they do get like a stipend, because they want to be, it wants to be known that they're not necessarily paying that woman to have a baby, but they pay for all the health care costs. They pay, I knew of a couple that pay all the bills in the house. And wanted to make sure that she was cared for and gave her a nominal salary. But they pay for all the bills in the house. So the money that she acquired from them, it just accumulated, and she didn't. And I was like, well, wow, that's one way to do it. But and I actually know someone. I have a sorority sister, LaShante, who actually carried the child for a friend of hers who could not carry the child to term.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I am an advocate for surrogacy and people who want to have children. I also think that adoption done right is a really good thing.
Right.
I don't think that you should have adoption versus abortion, though.
Right.
Because this child, and she talks about it, and I've known children who were adopted who were miserable. I had a girl tell me, she grew up in my neighborhood, she said, I hate to say it, but I'm glad that they're gone. She said, the stress that I lived under, trying to be perfect.
Right.
So people have this idea about the child. And a lot of times they have an idea about the child, but not childhood.
Right.
So she says adoption is an extremely political issue. The billion-dollar industry is part of a reason Roe v. Wade was overturned today. And if you don't want to believe that, you are willing to close your eyes. Adoptees are people, and while of course some adoptions work out beautifully, that is the luck of the draw, and it doesn't change the corrupt anti-women's rights system that money exchange is fueling. The U.S. adoption industry thrives on disempowering women. Now, I agree with that. Because if you cannot make a decision about your body based on someone else's moral beliefs or spiritual beliefs, then that is to rob you of the opportunity to make your own calls about your body.
Freedom.
So you are disempowering a whole classification of people. And I think, when they talk about in the rare case of the mother's life, well, ectopic pregnancies are not that rare. I mean, they happen all the time. They happen daily. They're not that rare, and if you do not see a physician, you will die. I mean, that's a fact. So she goes on to talk about, she speaks for herself, and she talks about womb wet, and what they're saying is, and let me say this, right now there's this whole thing going on in India. It's like a puppy mill, but it's a baby mill, and people are paying Indian women who are living in abject poverty, they're paying them to have children. They did a whole thing on it on Vice. The women were laid all out on pallets. And they're just constantly going back because there's no work for the man, and you are talking about a country where men are prized and women are not, and so that's what she's talking about, womb wet, where they're just having these babies, and these women are suffering from postpartum depression, because you don't want to do it, but you are literally carrying someone else's child, and there's not even an emotional attachment, and you are sick, your body hurts, you push out a baby, you go away for X amount of months, and then you come back and they pay you again. It's a baby mill, and women are subjected to that in India. So there is a lot that goes on with adoption and surrogacy, but I want to get to a particular case where I want to talk about this woman, and we talked about it some, where she got paid for many, many years to steal babies.
Wow. And it's mind blowing, because when we think of when we talk about mental health, like this is why that's so important. Like you are really messing people up intentionally.
And I think that the idea is to ensure, and I talked about it some before, it is to ensure white supremacy. Right. They suggest that, I remember seeing a billboard one time, and it said the scariest place in the world for a black child is in the mother's womb, and it was about abortion. And I remember thinking to myself, that's completely untrue.
That's crazy.
And this is not only a scare tactic, it's racist and it's stereotypical. Because the idea that black women have more abortions is untrue.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because they wouldn't have abortion, but it was us because they don't care about us.
Right.
I mean, it's like Michael Jackson, they don't really care about us. So it's
and we're not getting them, because we'll be petty enough to have his baby. And where his
so what was that? What's that girl's name? P.J. Washington's baby mama. She stayed with him long enough to get him pregnant, and she gets something like $200,000 a month. And she was telling the girls to just, this is what you do. I know a woman. She's married to my ex-husband's college roommate. She stayed married to a football player for 1 year and 1 day, 12 months 1 day, so she would be able to get his get his check, because she figured out a way to get and it was just very rare in the state of Texas, but she got alimony. So she got paid. But and he just gave her a lump sum so he wouldn't have to pay her every month. So there are some scandalous women out here. I'm not suggesting they're not. However, there are a lot of men that are trying to hold on to the tethered straps of white supremacy, and this is just another way for them to do it because they're terrified that the Hispanic community is going to become the majority.
Well, here's the thing. Not only adoption, but foster care, because
that's horrible.
And it's like so not even structured, for a human.
Yeah.
If you want to know why most adopted young women and males become prostitutes, they've been sold all their life.
Well, a lot of it happens, or they run away from home because of the abuse. Because what I don't know, that I haven't seen Child Protective Services protect a child yet. Well, I mean, when we hear about it, I know I just talked about the whole CPS in the whole United States, but and I know they're overworked, and I do believe they're underpaid. But I know that Judge Andrea Martin, what's her name now, Lane, Judge Andrea Lane, had a case where they had removed, and I think I talked about this before, it was 4 children, the grandparents were having to care for them. They removed 2 from the home because they had double bunk beds in one room, and they said that they didn't have room or space to care for the children. So they removed 2 of the kids from the home, from a loving home, and put them in foster care because they didn't have their own individual bedrooms. That is white supremacy.
Yeah.
That is someone thinking that because of the way you grew up and what you had, you know what's right for everybody else. Those kids were getting 3 meals a day. They were getting 3 hots and a cot.
They had a warm bed to sleep in.
And their own bed.
And their own. Now you sleeping on a pallet.
Well, you don't know. They might be sleeping in a bed, but you sleeping in a place that's unfamiliar with people who don't really care about you.
Yes.
Because they can't. They say, oh, they care about me. No, they don't. 30 seconds before they got to the door, they didn't even know who they were.
Right.
I understand that there's a heart pouring out of people, and some people just have a better heart than mine. I won't argue that. But it is impossible for you to love somebody you don't know.
Right. Right.
But so you took them from a love home.
And they don't stay there, because I do know someone actually at my church. She is a foster parent, and they rotate them out the house so much. You don't grow.
You're kind to them.
Yeah, you're kind to them.
You can't love them.
Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, because
love takes time. And I think so. What Judge Lane did is she looked at that CPS worker in the face and said, I grew up like that. Are you saying something wrong with me? And she literally told him, don't ever do that again. She was really on some black mama stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I bet not never hear tell you did that again. And she ordered that the children go back to their home. But do you know how traumatic that was for the 2 kids that got pulled out? How dramatic it was for the grandparents?
And how did you select these 2 out of all the 4?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, that is a part of CPS and Child Protective Services. When people say, oh, well, if something were to happen to them, Child Protective Services would help them.
No.
Well, maybe, but maybe not. I mean, because there are a lot of children.
Based on their caseload.
There's a lot of children that die in foster care, and CPS dropped the ball. And I think this woman telling her story about how she would have rather been dead than adopted needs to be considered. She can't speak for every adoptee.
Right.
But she does speak for many. Mm-hmm. And I think this concept that, oh, you could just give the baby it's just give the baby away. Well, we see, if you live in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, she's retired now, but a lady named Gloria Campos, she used to do Wednesday's Child, and she would feature them. Now Cynthia Izaguirre is doing it. But they feature children who are unadopted, and they're trying to get them adopted. Some of them are about to age out. Mm-hmm. They spend their entire life in foster care.
Yep. And when you age out, there's no transition.
No.
There's no transition. And because I have
you had 3 hots and a cot, and now you have none.
Considered adopting, and it's a lot to consider because you are, receiving a child or a baby that you have no relationship with their family, you don't know much about, very little, and then you're raising them in your home
with your standards,
your environment. And and all of that. And when a woman carries a baby, everything that mom is going through, that baby feels.
That's right.
And so there's so much that goes with that too: fear, anxiety, whatever the household was like when the mom was pregnant, you're bringing that all into your household, and
Right.
you got to figure out how to really, because the challenge is, because I'm not going through this, or I didn't go through this as a child. What's going on with this kid?
Right.
And it's a lot. It is a lot.
But I mean, look, I got 2 kids. You don't know what you're getting with your own.
Right. So you can only imagine.
My little man is something else.
And and you do your best and you do your part. But that doesn't mean that's enough, or that's what
I think anybody who wants to be a mom or a dad should have that opportunity, and I think adoption does that, surrogacy does that. Even freezing your eggs gives you hope and opportunity and possibility.
Things,
yes. So I mean, I do think that if you just don't want to, I think that is a decision between you and your God, that you and your body, you and your mind state, and no one else should be able to dictate that. And the idea that some people sat on a court with black robes on and made a decision about women's health, because I'm not just talking about the physical health, the mental and emotional health. I had a really good friend in high school that did give her parents made her give the baby up. She hid the pregnancy, and they made her give the baby up. She eventually got married to a guy as an engineer. She's lived many places throughout the world, but she confided in him that her heart never healed from that, and she went and found her child. And it took a long time, and she went and found her child because the adoption was forced on her. She did not want to have an adoption, to have to go through giving her child away. And she only held the baby, and I remember her telling me about how she held the baby, and they literally pried the baby from her arms. So that was a person that should have been allowed to raise her child, but someone else
made the decision
for her. And it was devastating enough that many years later, she confided in her husband, and he said, well, let's go get your child. And he found the little boy. The little boy was raised by, had been adopted by a white couple, and she contacted them and told them, and she and her son have a relationship. Now, I'm simply saying, when someone else makes a decision, that you should carry that burden, because maybe someone else would say, well, that's not something I want to carry in my heart, but I believe that the child would go back to God, and I can rest easily there. Those are decisions that you should be making for yourself, not white men who want to hold on to white supremacy. That's what that is. All right, I want to talk about the fact that we have a black woman that is president of an NFL franchise, the Las Vegas Raiders. Still doesn't sound right in my mouth, Las Vegas Raiders, but okay. And I just wonder if there's going to be a mess, if we are going to find out that something else happened. So we'll take a quick break. This is Quote with the Black Tea Sip. We'll be right back in a minute.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analyst are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
Over a year ago, we gave you the marquee. Luther Vandross and his bros and queens, abundantly satisfying. We did more than please. Made you party a bit and put your mind at ease. And then we spoke on everything else in between. We ain't come for the shine, but we left with the rated highly approved. Put you back in the mood. Gave it to DJs and put the needle to the groove. All star, all minus, all par. Luther V, Sin Q, and we are loose cannons, no comparisons by far. We do what we do when we are who we are. Dope music, high jump, raise the bar. So soothing, we do what they are. The vision would seem like Stevie and Ray Charles. In the hazy room, fat sacks and fat gauze. Yeah.
Back to back nights partying. Only stop to pray and then we start again. Just live today and let the rest go. We already know the way, baby, let's roll. and get back to the groove, back to the basics, back in the mood, back to the music, back to the truth, back to the proof. I'll be watching over you, coming back. Things, big dreams, I'm still big, it's the big time. Bright lights in the big city, big ego. Pockets getting bigger, big Nino. Big under pressure, hit some pretty big free throws. I've been cold, started a fire, still froze. I am someone you should admire, the eye of the tiger. From now on, the dress make it sire. The situation could be more dire. Deep sea diver, from out the frying pan to the fire. MCs be like backseat drivers, tell them buckle up. Big trucks, we riding big wheels. Big pump, big tuck, bitch, I'm a big deal. Bigger the cap, the bigger the billing. The bigger her ass, the better the feeling. The bigger the bag, the hyper the show. I take it in cash, at 20s and more. Back to back nights partying. Only stop to pray and then we start again. Just live today and let the rest go. We already know the way, baby, let's roll. And get back to the groove, back to the basics, back in the mood. Back to the music, back to the truth, back to the proof. I'll be watching over you, coming back. Back to back nights partying. Only stop to pray and then we start again. Just live today and let the rest go. We already know the way, baby, let's roll. And get back to the groove, back to the basics, back in the mood. Back to the music, back to the truth, back to the proof. I'll be watching over you, coming back.
That's good drink right there, man. Loose cannons. Boot V. Sing Q.
Right, and we're back. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sipping. Lola's Love Life.
Hello.
So if you're just joining us, we've talked about dating. We've talked about, it was a person's take on abortion who said she would have rather been aborted than adopted. And we talked about that. And so now we are going to talk about Sandra Douglas Morgan.
High notes.
And Black excellence definitely goes to her. Mm-hmm. She is the first Black woman to be the president of an NFL team, the Las Vegas Raiders. And so Lola and I were having a conversation earlier when the news broke, and Lola and I kind of had the same idea. Mm-hmm. Wonder what the hell the Raiders did, because they only call Black women in to clean it up. It's almost like they give us a big office, corner office, beautiful. You know, we wearing nice clothes, we carrying good handbags, but they still treating us like the maid. Because I guarantee you something is about to come out that makes her clean up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Those emails are about to come out with the former coach. When he resigned or retired, he had $100 million guaranteed contract. $100 million.
Guaranteed.
Meaning stay or leave. So he had to leave when those emails around this time last year were exposed. Now,
so talk about the emails for the people that don't know.
The emails definitely had a lot of racial tone to it.
Yep.
Yes, so he was calling people monkey, big face monkey. He talked about Black women. He talked about Black men. He talked about the players in some very racial ways. I can't think of anything specific off my head, but I do remember the Black monkey thing.
Yeah.
Now, when you email, you are emailing someone, right?
Right.
And so if you are emailing, and the recipients are people,
and they condone the behavior.
Yes.
By virtue, if they didn't do anything else but acquiesce. The behavior is, so what we are saying is it was part of the Raiders culture.
It was part of the Raiders culture and their relationships, because like I think it was the president of Hooters was on some of those emails.
Yep.
A lot of president of some bowl games were on those emails.
Yep.
Now let's be very clear. They did work out Colin Kaepernick. Now we knew that they did that because whatever is about to come out is coming out. Yes.
Yes.
Now the coach walked away silently because they cut him all that money. They gave it all to him.
It was guaranteed.
And so
now she's coming into a franchise, which is $100 million minus. Mm-hmm. You know, they didn't get any benefit from their money. So that goes in the red category. If we're looking at what's in the black and what's in the red, that's in the red. But it talks about Morgan is currently an attorney for Covington and Burlington LLP and serves on the board of directors for Allegiant Travel Company and Caesars Entertainment. So we're talking about Caesars Palace Casino. Her appointment pioneers a new path of diverse leadership. This is from ABC. New leadership in the NFL, but she has wait just a moment. But she has long made strides in diversifying various bureaucracies in her home state of Nevada. She's a cleanup woman. Prior to changing the game in NFL administration, she was previously Nevada's first black city attorney for the city of North Las Vegas and the first black woman to chair the Nevada Gaming Control Board. The Raiders brought Morgan on board at a challenging time after former team president Dan Vitrell was fired in May. His controversial termination followed other resignations seen across the board from senior roles, including Chief Financial Officer Ed Villanueva, and who was with the team for 18 years, and Chief Operations and Analytics Officer Jeremy Aguero, who maintained his role for 7 measly months. She says she is thrilled. She goes on to talk about the head coach, Josh McDaniels, the general manager, Dave Ziegler, joined Davis in welcoming her to the team via Twitter, blah, 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 blah. When they hire a black woman, we know it's to clean it up. Now, being that she was the first of this and that and the other, we also know that she is a member of the illustrious, dare I say it? Do I need to say it? Should I say it? She is a member of the first and the oldest black Greek letter organization in the world, founded, and announced in 1908. She is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So it is not lost on me. It's not a surprise at all that she would be the first, because we always are. All right, so let's talk about the Mavericks. They brought in a black woman. We love her.
Sexual harassment. There was a lot going on, and I love Cynthia March. If you have never met her,
she is a joy.
She is amazing. And so they brought her in, and that was 3 to 5 years ago, and she's still there. So she's definitely made some strides. She's cleaned house. And she's done a wonderful job.
But Mark Cuban was true to his word. And I hope that the Raiders are as well, because they bring us on for optics and to fix things, and then a year or two later you're out the door. When you have put things in line and people have kind of forgotten because you use this person as optics. Now I think this woman is sharp. I know that she's going to be a lot more savvy than that. I hope that she is shrewd, because if that's the case, then the Raiders will be very careful about how they move.
So the difference is the Raiders. The Raiders owner that died a million years ago. I cannot think of his name. I think it's Al something. But that's Jerry Jones' mentor. So my point in saying that the difference is that culture of the Raiders team has been there for so long. I hope that they really respect, her
and allow
space.
her to make fire the people that need to be fired.
She has the resume to do what needs to be done.
Well, of course, she's an AKA.
Right. And so, and that's the whole thing. One thing is being said, but then there's a different expectation. That's what we don't want with this.
And that is what happens to us. That's why I said they use us as maids to come in and clean it up. So you tell us we have autonomy. You tell us that you want us to fix it, and then you tie our hands to fix it. That is not what Mark Cuban did with Cynthia. He literally, heads rolled, folks was fired.
Right.
And she was allowed to make those decisions.
And with that being said, so the Houston Texans did the same thing, right? They had all these allegations about Deshaun Watson and sexual misconduct, and then they brought in a black head coach for 1 year. I mean, they gave
12
him
months.
1 year to do something, and he couldn't do anything in a year.
Yeah.
You'd have to change. I mean, you have to build a team. And so to justify or say, you know, hey, now also this goes across the board because of the other coach that was fired from Miami, who is now an assistant coach at the Steelers, but the way that they treated him. So all of this is supposed to, although she's with the Raiders, she is supposed to clean all this up face alone, and that's wrong.
And that is exactly so. I felt like that when they said, "Oh, Michelle Obama should run for president." So you want a black woman to be in charge of the mess? Let somebody else have it.
Yeah.
Why we always got to be the maid? We didn't make the mess. Why do we have to be the maids?
So yeah, so this for the whole NFL.
No disrespect, Sora. I'm not calling you a maid, Sora. I'm just simply saying we gonna touch and agree that these people let you do your job
because
we know you're capable.
Yeah, it's definitely her resume speaks for itself. They did not go wander off and find someone. She was probably part of the Raiders coming to Las Vegas as well. Yeah. So she has a lot of influence and she has a lot of experience in
she knows Nevada and she knows Nevada politics and she knows Nevada culture. So that is going to serve her very well with the Raiders.
Yes. But she is also not just the face of the Raiders. She is the face of the NFL now.
Yes, she is. She is.
And so
and she's so cute. And her husband is black.
Yes.
Her husband is black.
And Cynthia Marshall is black too.
Right. We got the black and the black. We got black. And we didn't. I mean, Kamala, I love her, but we didn't do a switcheroo on her.
Yeah.
They said no. We gonna go get a sister. Power to the people. Because Nevada. It could have gone any way. Could have gone any way. Now
I think it's going to be very exciting to see what happens, and as long as we have her back, because I think that's another thing. As long as we have her back, people kind of tread lightly on how they move when they realize it's folks that will meet you in these streets in regards to
and I think the sorority should just really stand up. So do you think that they do the same thing to black men? Because remember, Jason Wright was the first black president ever in the history of the NFL for Washington. So do you think they bring black men in to clean up the messes like they do black women?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, with Washington, they've had so much racial controversy that what they don't want is they don't want to start losing out, because even though this was years ago when he took a knee, a lot of people did stop watching football for a minute.
Well, I'm one of the people that stopped watching football and really never really started back when Jerry Jones. I mean, I was already, now Dak got on my nerves, and y'all out here, y'all pray to the altar of Dak. I do not do that. He got on my last black nerve. I just felt like he shouldn't have said anything. But when Jerry Jones said that they had to come out, they couldn't wait in the locker room, they couldn't sit on the bench, they had to come out, I said, okay, you know what? This is too much cotton picking plantation mentality for me. And I stopped watching all the NFL because I felt like the NFL should have stood up. I mean, we were talking about, we in the 2000s and we living like it's the 1930s. It was ridiculous. But when they brought in Jason Wright, he was a former player. They felt like he was going to understand the culture. Her husband, Sandra's husband, is a former player. So I think there's an expectation there that, you can do these things, but you have to walk this line. I think that is the difference between Cynthia in her role with the Dallas Mavericks. Cuban came in as an outsider. And people say, oh, he knew. Well, a lot of times when you are the head, you don't know. Right. Now he could have, but I think he brought on somebody who wasn't gonna play no games, who wasn't gonna be a yes man, and that was gonna be difficult for him. I wonder if Sandra Morgan Douglas has been in Nevada politics so long that she becomes a part of that machine. Like, I always wonder why people pick who they pick. Like, I wonder with Biden, he didn't pick Val Demings. I'm glad he didn't pick Val Demings. Lord, the Deltas would have been unreasonable. But he didn't pick Val Demings. And I said, is she too black? Her black husband was in law enforcement, so you certainly would have gotten the law enforcement community. But he went with Kamala. Was she less threatening because she was less black? Not just for Biden, but for his team, because let's be honest, chief of staff is who runs things, not the president. I've said that before, y'all don't believe me. So I'm curious to know, when they picked her, being that she has been the first for in the gaming board, she's been this woman is handling her business. Is it that she understands the politics of Nevada and in Las Vegas, so that she becomes less threatening? Because it is not often that they pick a black woman who got a black husband that pushing out little black babies. They usually are, they usually go the Kamala route, who stands there and says, I am black, stands in her blackness, but sleeps white. Many times that's what they do. And I'm just curious to know, how prepared are they going to be for this black woman with her black husband and her black ideals? As a member of AKA, we know that she is rooted in the foundational, fundamental principles of what it is to live in this country in this color. That is who we are as a people. Right. 1908, service to all mankind. I mean, we don't do no Oprah Lee talking about Juneteenth was freedom for all, because that's a fallacy and a lie, and I expect more from an educator. And somebody gonna get mad, but the truth don't care who tells it. So I'm just curious to see how this unfolds, because many times they go and pick the person who they think is less threatening, but serves the optics. And I really feel like they did that with Jason Wright.
But I think that's why this is so interesting to see play out, because we don't know, based on the fact that I'm gonna tell you this, because of where she has stood on boards and the boards she has sat on, she has influence.
Yes.
She has a lot of influence, and she was probably very influential in, getting the stadium and all of that. Like, she understands. However, she is relatable too, right? The majority of the players are black. Now we have,
and her husband is black, which I love.
Black. So she can go to the boardroom, she can go down to the field and still have the same conversation and get the necessary results. Now, you said, earlier, we hope that's what they're going to allow her to do. Because it is in a very old franchise, still ran by the son now. Yeah. So he got the
good
same
old boy mentality. Yeah.
Because he was on them, and he was on those emails too.
Yep.
So I mean, hey, I don't know who twisted his arm and said, if you don't hire somebody, we gonna do it. But that's what makes this interesting to see how this plays out. Is that the mere fact that she has the experience and she knows how to change things, is if they will. Now, and I don't know, I mean, we don't know who else was in the lineup for it.
Right.
And Cynthia Marshall, she didn't even live here. She had no idea, you know. And so that's hard to say, but I definitely think that it's going to be more so about the fact that what we do know about her, are they going to allow that to be implemented in?
Well, and are they going to let her do the job they claim they brought her in to do? I mean, are they going to allow?
But you have to recognize you have a problem, right? It's even like if you take a crackhead to the to rehab and he's only going because it's court ordered, right. He's not going to get clean. He's going to go right back to the streets when he get out in the 30 days. So the whole thing is, you didn't bring her in and say, we are changing the culture, only to come back a year later and say, she did not.
Well, we just want to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. We're going to go in a different direction. Mm-hmm. You can't do that either. So.
And I think that they really need to know. When you have to start delivering on what you're telling us now. This is not the 80s when we were still trying to get in the well, I mean, she was the chairman of the Nevada Boarding Commission, gaming board. I said it wrong. So I mean, I think that is hugely important for them to recognize, and I hope that they do. Yeah. I believe that, to your point, I think there was already a relationship there between her and the team owners, and they knew each other. And I just hope that they allow her to clean it up. Right. They allow her to do the things that she needs to do. And I'm super happy and excited. I mean, this black woman making history, and maybe we can start to right some of the wrongs in the NFL as a whole. And that's a lot to lay on her. And that, too, is unfair and unfortunate. But, I mean, that's what happens.
But we got her back and her side. So she going to be held up. And that's a good thing.
All right, we're going to leave it there. This is Cora with the Black Tea Sip. Lola's Love Life. We'll talk about dating next week because that's what y'all seem to like about this. Kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. But we'll talk about Lola and the 31-year-old next week, and we'll do it again. Same bat time, same bat channel. Lola and I now have to go to a meeting. We got to go to work.